3 days ago, DeepSeek shipped a model you can run on a machine with no graphics card in it at all. That part is true. Here's the part that doesn't fit in a title. The floor to run it is 92 gigabytes of memory. 92 is the absolute minimum, at the most aggressive compression that exists. The version the people who packaged it actually recommend wants between 110 and 135. So compare two builds, identical weights, identical license, identical 1 million token context. One has a graphics card, one doesn't. And the build without the graphics card needs a memory kit that costs, today, somewhere between $1,000 and $2,800. A year ago, that class of part cost a fraction of that. A 32 gigabyte DDR5 kit went from around $80 in mid-2025 to around $430 by early 2026. Same part, over 400%. The obvious explanation is that memory is expensive right now, and prices come back down. That explanation is wrong, and there's a public statement from a chip vendor that says so out loud. Because the thing everyone is optimizing, the GPU, isn't the bottleneck anymore. It moved. And it moved into the one component the AI boom quietly made unaffordable. Start with what isn't in dispute, because this isn't a video about a bad model. DeepSeek V4 Flash 0731 was released on July 31st, 2026. Open weights on Hugging Face, MIT license. It isn't a research license, and there's no revenue clause buried in Section 4. MIT. You can ship products on it. The architecture is a mixture of experts. That matters more than any benchmark, so hold on to it. Of the full parameter count, only 13 billion parameters are active for any given token. The total is where it gets strange. The Hugging Face model card says 304 billion parameters. OpenRouter and Artificial Analysis both say 284 billion. Both numbers are correct. The model itself is 284 billion. Bolted to the top of it is a speculative decoding module called DSpark, worth roughly another 20 billion, and the Hugging Face repo counts that in the total. So the thing you download weighs more than the thing that thinks, because it ships with a second, smaller model riding on its back whose only job is to guess what the big one is about to say. That's a nice piece of engineering. It's also the first hint that the number you have to budget for isn't the number anyone quotes at you. Context window is 1 million tokens. Attention is a hybrid, CSA plus HCA, and the hosted API on OpenRouter is 9 cents per million input tokens, 18 cents per million output. Keep that number somewhere in the back of your head. That number comes back later, and it's going to be uncomfortable. So a genuinely open, genuinely large, genuinely long context model priced at almost nothing on the API that you're also allowed to download and run yourself. That's the offer. On paper, it's one of the better offers in the history of this field. The question isn't whether the model is good. The question is what the word locally is actually charging you. Here is where most videos on this topic go quiet, so let's not. CPU-only inference is supported. It isn't a hack or a community fork. It's in the documentation in one sentence. The unsloth build instructions say it directly. Change-DGGML_CUDA equals on to -DGGML_CUDA equals off if you don't have a GPU or just want CPU inference. That's the whole mechanism. One compile flag sitting inside an otherwise completely ordinary build. You flip one character in that command, and the CUDA path is gone. Llama.cpp compiles a pure CPU binary. The model loads, tokens come out. There's no asterisk on it and no crippled mode. The title of this video isn't a lie, and neither is anyone else's. That's exactly why this is worth 11 minutes. Because the interesting failures are never the lies. The interesting failures are the true statements that stop being useful the moment you check what they cost. No GPU needed is a true statement about one component. It says nothing at all about the other one. And in the entire conversation about running models at home, every thread, every build guide, every comparison chart, the axis everyone argues about is the graphics card. How much VRAM, which generation, whether the used market makes it viable. Turn the graphics card off and the constraint doesn't disappear. It just stops being visible on the axis everyone is looking at. So let's look at the other axis. Here's the actual requirements table, the combined RAM plus VRAM figure, straight from the unsloth documentation. The bottom rung, 1-bit quantization, 92 gigabytes. The rung they actually recommend, 3-bit. The one they call UDIQ3, triple XS, 110 to 135 gigabytes. The documentation's own phrasing for it is that it fits on a 128 gigabyte RAM device. And the top of the ladder, 8-bit, 169 gigabytes. Read that phrasing the way a parts list reads it. fits on a 128 gigabyte device is the happy path. The happy path is 128 gigabytes of system memory. And notice what's missing from the bottom of that ladder. There's no 32 gigabyte option. There's no 64 gigabyte option. There's no clever quantization at the bottom that gets you in under 92. 92 is the floor, and the floor is hard, yes. Llama.cpp will mmap the file and page the rest off the disk. Do that, and you are reading 100 gigabytes off an SSD for every single token you generate. It runs the way a car runs when you push it. Every other local model conversation you've ever had has a fallback. Model too big? Take the smaller one. Quantize harder. Wait 2 weeks for a distill. Here, the smallest door in the building is 92 gigabytes wide. And this is where that 13 billion active number turns around and bites. 13 billion active is what makes the model fast. It's the reason a model this size can generate at a speed a CPU can survive, because for any single token, most of those parameters are asleep. But asleep isn't absent. The router doesn't know in advance which experts the next token is going to need. Any of them can be called, which means all of them have to be sitting in memory, loaded, waiting for the entire session. So mixture of experts buys you speed. It doesn't buy you capacity. Those are two different budgets, and almost every conversation about local models collapses them into one number. The active parameter count tells you how fast it'll run. The total tells you whether it'll run at all. The requirements table you just saw answers the second question, which is exactly why there's no clever quantization that gets you under 92. You're not compressing what gets used. You're compressing what has to be present. That distinction, touched versus resident, is the whole video. Patreon's in the description. Now put that requirement next to what happened to memory prices this year. A 128 gigabyte DDR5 kit today runs between $1,000 and $2,800, depending on generation, whether it's ECC, and how many modules it takes to get there. That is today's price, after everything that happened to this market in the last 18 months. The headline is simple, and it comes from AMD. DDR5 got expensive, fast, and it isn't coming back down until 2028, by AMD's own admission. Gartner has memory costs up 130% across 2026. That's the vendor telling its own customers to plan for 3 more years, which is the answer to the question the top of this video left open. What you may not know is that the part of the market this model needs behave differently. The 32 gigabyte kit everybody quotes is a commodity part. $80 to $432 is a $350 swing. The same kind of move on a 128 gigabyte kit is a swing of over 1,000. The percentage is smaller, the bill is not. And 2 data points say it's structural rather than a spike. Micron retired Crucial, its consumer memory brand, in February 2026 to concentrate on enterprise AI customers. Framework raised DDR5 upgrade prices on its DIY laptops by 50% and warned more increases were coming. A manufacturer deciding the consumer channel isn't worth the wafers, and a company whose entire brand is, "You should be able to upgrade this," telling you upgrading now costs half again as much. The cause is no secret, and nobody involved is hiding it. Sustained AI infrastructure demand is absorbing production capacity. Memory is being sold to whoever pays the most per gigabyte, and for the last 18 months, that hasn't been you. So line the 2 facts up because separately they're trivia and together they're the story. Fact 1. An open weights model arrived that removes the need for a graphics card. That model exists because of the AI boom. Fact 2, the component it requires instead, ordinary system memory, 92 gigabytes of it minimum, got up to 400% more expensive. It got more expensive because of the AI boom. Same wave, both effects. The promise of open weights was always framed as independence. Independence from the API, independence from the rate limit, independence from a company that can deprecate the endpoint you built on. Download the file, own the capability, stop renting. What actually happened is that the wave which produced the free model simultaneously bid up the price of the hardware you need in order to be free. The gift and the tax came from the same source. And this is where that API price stops being a footnote. 9 cents per million in, 18 cents out. Against a memory kit that can run $2,800 before you've bought a motherboard that will even accept it. The math on local is cheaper doesn't fail because local is bad. It fails because the denominator moved. So what does the hardware that actually works look like? Here is the only real measurement anyone has published. An Intel Xeon W5 3425, 512 gigabytes of DDR5, and a 32 gigabyte RTX 5090 doing the heavy lifting on prompt processing on a CUDA build of llama.cpp. At 64,000 tokens of context that rig evaluated prompts at 215 tokens a second and generated at 13.5. At 128,000, prompt evaluation went up to 328, and generation came down to just under 13. Even the demonstration that you don't need a graphics card was run on a graphics card. There is no public verified pure CPU benchmark of this model, not one. Nobody has shown you a clean number. You'd be the first. Now strip the GPU back out, which is the actual scenario this video is about. The reasonable inference is that generation stays near 12 to 13 tokens a second because that number is set by memory bandwidth, not by the graphics card. That's an extrapolation, not a measurement. Prompt processing is a different story and a worse one. Prompt eval is compute bound, and 215 tokens a second is not what a Xeon does on its own. 12 to 13 tokens a second is usable. It's roughly reading speed. For batch work, for overnight jobs, for anything where latency isn't the product, it's genuinely fine. But look at the machine underneath it. A server-class Xeon with half a terabyte of memory. The memory alone in that configuration is a serious number. So the honest version of the advice is this. If you don't own that machine, the correct move in 2026 is not to buy the memory. Not at these prices. And not with a vendor telling you the prices hold until 2028. And if you already own it, a workstation, a Mac with a large unified memory configuration, a server somebody handed down to you, then flip the flag, pull the 3-bit build, and go. A Frontier-class open model on hardware you already paid for is a genuinely great outcome, and you should take it. Which leaves the question this video deliberately didn't answer. What does fit in the memory you already have? Because 92 gigabytes is the floor for this specific model, and the floor for a genuinely useful local coding model is nowhere near that. There's a whole class of mixture of experts models where the file is under 20 gigabytes and your speed comes down to how many bytes get touched per token. There's a video on the channel that works through exactly that. If this one told you what you can't afford, that one tells you what you already have.